The Springboks have officially arrived in Argentina, and while the long journey may be over, the real challenge is only just beginning. With anticipation building ahead of their crucial test against Los Pumas in Buenos Aires, all eyes are now on Rassie Erasmus and the decisions that could shape South Africa's momentum heading into one of the biggest rugby events of the year. After weeks of preparation, careful planning, and intense training sessions back home, the world champions have entered the final phase of their build-up, knowing that this match is about much more than just another international fixture. It is the last opportunity to fine-tune combinations, assess player form under pressure, and build confidence before the highly anticipated rugby's greatest rivalry series against New Zealand. The Springboks touched down in Buenos Aires during the early hours of Sunday after traveling in two separate groups from South Africa via São Paulo, Brazil. Although the trip was long and demanding, the arrival of both traveling parties within an hour of each other ensured the squad could settle into their hotel together before beginning their recovery process. Understanding the physical toll of international travel, the coaching staff immediately prioritized player welfare, giving the squad a full day to recover from the journey and adapt to the local conditions and time zone before returning to the training field. Speaking after the team's arrival, Rassie Erasmus admitted that the journey had been lengthy but stressed that the Springboks had already completed much of their tactical preparation during their training camp in Johannesburg earlier in the week. According to the head coach, the groundwork has already been laid, allowing the players to focus on sharpening their execution and making final adjustments once training resumes in Argentina. That careful planning reflects the attention to detail that has become a trademark of the current Springbok management. Rather than leaving everything until arriving overseas, the coaching staff ensured the players already understood the game plan before boarding the plane, reducing the pressure during the short preparation window in Buenos Aires. Another significant development is that the group remaining in South Africa to prepare for the upcoming clashes against New Zealand will also resume training, ensuring both squads continue progressing simultaneously. This dual approach highlights the balancing act the Springbok coaching team faces. While the immediate focus is beating Argentina, there is no escaping the enormous challenge that awaits against the All Blacks later this month. Every decision now must serve both objectives, winning in Buenos Aires while ensuring the squad is fully prepared for one of rugby's greatest rivalries. The travelling squad includes several of South Africa's biggest stars, with Siya Kolisi and Eben Etzebeth among the experienced leaders tasked with guiding the team through this important test. Their presence brings not only world-class ability but also invaluable leadership during a demanding period of the international season. Having veterans capable of managing pressure and maintaining standards will be essential as younger players continue developing within the Springbok system. Yet perhaps the biggest talking point surrounding the team is not who travelled, but when supporters will finally learn the starting lineup. The Springboks have confirmed that Rassie Erasmus will meet with his coaching staff before deciding exactly when the official matchday squad will be announced. In recent weeks, the head coach has often preferred revealing his selections on a Monday, giving players extra recovery time before final decisions are made. Fans, analysts, and former internationals will all be watching closely because every selection offers clues about South Africa's tactical direction and long-term planning. The match against Argentina is expected to provide another valuable opportunity for combinations to develop and for individuals to strengthen their claims ahead of the massive tests against New Zealand. Competition for places within the Springbok squad remains fierce, with virtually every position contested by players capable of performing at the highest international level. That depth has become one of South Africa's greatest strengths and continues to give Rassie Erasmus difficult but welcome selection headaches. Every training session in Argentina will therefore carry enormous importance, as players look to impress before the final team announcement. Meanwhile, Los Pumas will undoubtedly be preparing to challenge the reigning world champions on home soil. Argentina has consistently proven capable of producing outstanding performances against elite opposition, particularly in Buenos Aires, where passionate home support often creates an intimidating atmosphere. The Springboks know they cannot afford complacency. A victory would not only maintain momentum but also reinforce the confidence and consistency that have defined South African rugby over recent seasons. At the same time, the coaching staff will be looking beyond the final score, paying close attention to defensive organization, attacking accuracy, discipline, and physical intensity as benchmarks ahead of facing the All Blacks. With only a limited number of training sessions remaining before kickoff, every minute on the field becomes increasingly valuable. Recovery, preparation, and execution will all play critical roles in determining how successfully the Springboks begin this South American challenge. As excitement continues to grow, supporters around the world now eagerly await the official team announcement and the first glimpse of the lineup that will take the field at Estadio José Amalfitani. The long journey to Argentina may have tested the squad physically, but the mission remains crystal clear. The Springboks are determined to deliver another professional performance, continue building toward an even greater challenge against New Zealand, and once again demonstrate why they remain one of the most respected and formidable teams in world rugby.
The journey may have taken thousands of kilometers and crossed continents, but for the Springboks, the real mission has only just begun. South Africa's reigning world champions have officially arrived in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where the countdown is now on for a crucial test against Los Pumas that carries significance far beyond the final score. While fans around the rugby world eagerly wait to see the team sheet, Rassie Erasmus and his coaching staff are quietly putting the finishing touches on a carefully crafted plan designed not only to conquer Argentina but also to build momentum ahead of the blockbuster rugby's greatest rivalry series against New Zealand. Every decision made over the next few days could influence South Africa's preparations for one of the biggest periods of the international rugby calendar, making this far more than just another away fixture. The Springboks landed in the Argentine capital during the early hours of Sunday after a demanding journey from South Africa that included a stopover in São Paulo, Brazil. To ensure the travel process ran as smoothly as possible, the squad was divided into two traveling groups, with both parties arriving at the team hotel less than an hour apart shortly after midnight. Although the players finally reached their destination, the coaching staff immediately shifted their attention to one of the biggest challenges facing elite international teams: recovery. Long-haul travel, significant time zone changes, and physical fatigue can all have a major impact on performance, and the Springbok management understands that allowing players to recover properly is just as important as time spent on the training field. Instead of rushing straight into high-intensity sessions, the squad has been given a full day to rest, recover, and adapt to local conditions before returning to rugby activities. It is another example of the detailed planning that has become synonymous with Rassie Erasmus and his management team. Speaking after the team's arrival, Rassie Erasmus acknowledged that the journey had been long but remained confident that the Springboks were exactly where they needed to be in terms of preparation. According to the head coach, much of the tactical groundwork had already been completed during the team's intensive training camp in Johannesburg before departure, allowing the players to focus on sharpening their execution rather than learning new systems once they reached Argentina. That approach reflects the meticulous nature of South Africa's preparation. Rather than wasting valuable time overseas introducing fresh strategies, the coaching staff ensured every player already understood the game plan before boarding the plane. Now, the emphasis shifts toward fine-tuning combinations, increasing match sharpness, and ensuring every player is physically ready for one of the toughest challenges in international rugby. The match itself carries enormous importance. Although it is officially a one-off test against Los Pumas, it also serves as South Africa's final competitive outing before attention turns to New Zealand. The rugby's greatest rivalry series promises to capture the imagination of rugby supporters across the globe, and the Springboks know they cannot afford to arrive at Ellis Park without building the right momentum. A convincing performance in Buenos Aires would provide confidence, reinforce combinations, and give the coaching staff valuable information before facing one of the sport's greatest rivals. That is why this fixture is being viewed internally as much more than a simple international match. Every scrum, every line-out, every defensive set, and every attacking movement will provide another opportunity to refine South Africa's systems before the intensity rises even further later this month. Another fascinating aspect of the Springboks' preparations is the split squad strategy employed by Rassie Erasmus. While one group has traveled to Argentina, another remains in South Africa, focusing specifically on preparations for the upcoming New Zealand tests. Those players are expected to regroup later on Sunday before resuming training on Monday, ensuring both units continue progressing simultaneously. This dual-focus strategy perfectly illustrates the remarkable squad depth South Africa currently possesses. Few international teams have the luxury of preparing for two major objectives at the same time while maintaining such high standards across both groups. It also demonstrates the confidence the coaching staff has in the broader squad, trusting different players to perform important roles while keeping the overall project moving forward. Leadership remains another major strength for the Springboks. The travelling squad includes inspirational captain Siya Kolisi, whose influence extends well beyond his performances on the field. Alongside him is veteran lock Eben Etzebeth, one of the most experienced and respected figures in world rugby. Their leadership provides reassurance during challenging tours and helps maintain the demanding standards expected within the Springbok environment. Younger players benefit enormously from training alongside such accomplished professionals, while the experienced stars themselves continue setting the benchmark through their professionalism and work ethic. As always under Rassie Erasmus, selection is based not only on reputation but also on current form, tactical suitability, and long-term planning. That competitive environment has become one of South Africa's greatest weapons over recent years. Every player understands that opportunities must be earned, and every training session becomes another chance to impress the coaching staff. That competitive culture has played a major role in transforming the Springboks into one of the most consistent teams in international rugby. Yet despite the excitement surrounding the squad's arrival, perhaps the biggest question remains unanswered. Who will actually start against Argentina? The Springboks have confirmed that Rassie Erasmus will first consult with his coaching team before deciding exactly when to announce the matchday squad. In recent weeks, the head coach has often preferred revealing his lineup on a Monday, giving players additional recovery time before making final decisions.